Hello everyone, this is Britsimon. Just a bit of information now about the 2NL or second notification letter. So what is the 2NL? The 2NL is the second notification letter, as I mentioned. The first NL, first notification letter, was the letter you saw when you were selected, the letter that says you were a selectee. The 2NL is actually the interview appointment detail, so the date and time of your interview. You will not get the 2NL until all three of these things are true. Your case number has to be current, your DS-260 has been processed, and your documents have been submitted and processed by KCC. For the timing of the 2NLs, the 2NLs are sent some weeks before the interview month. So for example, the 2NLs for October interviews will be sent in August. The 2NLs are sent in the second half of the month, from the 15th of the month to the end of the month. It can be literally on the last day of the month that the last batch of 2NLs are sent. Recently, KCC have started sending the 2NLs in two large batches, one fairly early, around about the 15th, 16th, 17th of the month, and the other one in the last 1 or 2 days of the month. Now, when I say 1 or 2 days, I mean weekdays. They're only sending 2NLs from Monday through Friday. The 2NLs are sent to cases which were ready for scheduling around the beginning of the month in which the 2NLs are sent. So if you are expecting your 2NL in August for an October interview, your DS-260 and your documents would have to have been processed by the end of July or thereabouts, so perhaps very early August, the 1st or 2nd of August, around that time. And then you'll see the visa bulletin will be published in August announcing what dates what numbers rather are going to be interviewed in October. And if your number is lower than the visa bulletin number and your DS-260 has been processed and your documents have been processed, then you could expect your 2NL to be sent in the second half of August. KCC actually decide the VB number based on how many cases are ready for scheduling. If they have to fill 1,000 interview appointments, they will change they'll change the visa bulletin number they choose based on how many people are actually ready to be scheduled at the end of July. What does the 2NL itself look like? Okay, it's actually in two parts. Firstly, you'll receive an email from, I think it's no reply at KCC, no reply at state.gov. And that email simply says something like you have updates available, and they refer you to check the ESC page. The ESC page is the entrance status check page. That's the place where you originally saw your 1NL, your selected letter. The email itself does not contain the appointment details. It has no useful information in the email itself. After a short delay, perhaps an hour or two, you will find your 1NL letter at the ESC page has been replaced by the 2NL with the appointment details. And this is what the appointment letter looks like. It has your personal name and your case details and your embassy details, etc., and the date and time of your interview there. Okay, so obviously that's an exciting time. That's going to be at least sort of 6 weeks or so before the interview. And after you get this letter, you're then going to go ahead and schedule your medicals and get your documents, all the rest of your documents fully prepared for the interview, etc. Just some notes. If you're checking the SEAC status for your case, which is only available after January the 1st each year, the case status changes when the 2NLs are sent. It changes first from the default status, which is at NVC, to in transit. In transit meaning the case is being sent from KCC to the embassy. Then after sometimes a few hours and sometimes a few days and even a couple of weeks, the case will change from in transit to being ready. All of those status updates don't really need to worry you. If they are fast to make it ready after in-transit, it doesn't make any difference. This is happening several weeks before your interview appointment anyway, so don't worry about that. You actually don't need to see the email. So if you have lost access to the email account, that is not a problem. You simply check your ESC page when you think you may have been scheduled. And so if you hear from me that 2NLs are being sent, you can check your ESC page directly. You don't need the email. There's nothing in the email that's important. 2NLs are not sent in any known order within the month. So it's not that the earliest numbers are sent first, or the first people to submit the DS260, those are sent first. Nothing like that. There seems, from at least from our point of view, to be somewhat random of which cases get scheduled. There's probably some order, but we don't know the order. If a number of cases are current at the same time and they're all ready for scheduling, there's no way to predict which case will get the 2NL first. And in fact, there's no way to predict when in the month your interview will be scheduled based on other factors such as your case number. It doesn't follow that a lower case number will receive the 2NL first or will be interviewed earlier in the month than a later case number. Okay, so that explains 2NLs. I hope that was useful and interesting to you. Please remember to subscribe to my channel to get more of these sort of videos, and have a great day.